let's get started with this poem. I wrote this probably during the pandemic, and it's just a bunch of emotions that, well, I hope some of you at some point can relate to. It's a persona. The poem is about a persona that I created in my head, and so here's the poem. He is walking. He thinks of a poem while he walks. He wants to write it when he goes home, but will he be able to? Will he remember it with the intensity and flow it has in his mind right now? He doesn't ponder upon the thought, though. That's not what he wants to do. He's in the lecture room listening to a seminar, and he drifts off. He wants to be present desperately. He wants to show an expression of relatability on his face to the speaker in front of him, the author of a book whose name he didn't care to remember or ask, was so vulnerable. He could never do that. Instead, he's thinking about that poem. The room is cold. It makes him want to sleep. There is a bag on the table in front of him, and the strap is just shy of hanging off the edge. It's disturbing. He wants to fix it. It's not his bag, and yet it's taking over him. He's always been asked the right questions, but given the wrong options to choose an answer from. They never give him the correct ones. Only check instead if he has courage enough to choose the most common one. He always wants to add a secret third correct option to the question paper, which he wants to tick with black ink before submitting. But that is never the case. He regrets it. He regrets the futility of it. His life is a mess of plugs and sockets in and out and on and off. He runs the risk of getting electrocuted. But he doesn't care enough to dwell upon that thought. If the world wants to take him, he will let it. Why anticipate? Loud rock music blasts in his ears. No one around him can hear. The person sitting beside him can't hear the loud screams beyond the rock music. His loud screams that muffle the rock music. His ears ring with so much noise, with so much loudness, it's unbearably calm. The bus he's on keeps turning and turning, round and round, as if in circles. He clutches onto the bar on the seat in front of him. He doesn't want to fall and doesn't want to lose balance. Doesn't want to let his body be taken over and defeated by the increasing momentum. He's trying his best. His monthly Midas touch, rapidly rusting away, screams at the top of his voice. Much like the music, he's trying his best. His father begs him. His mother is disappointed. But he's trying his best. There is a beast on the footpath, running alongside the bus. Seems as though it is giving the run all it's got. It's giving the chase its best shot. He feels like a prey, but in a competition with the predator much smaller than him. He's not to be eaten, but to be challenged. He feels like he's going to lose, and alas, the bus wins, obviously. It's a man-made thing, but does he? His life is filled with accidents, drivers at fault, passengers at risk, never the other way around. For once, he's lucky that he's not to blame. His life is in the hands of those who know too little, but act like they know much more. Does he care though? He can't bring himself to care. If he does, it will drive him mad, and he can't afford to do that. He has to stay sane. For the world's sake, he has to stay sane. He walks with a limp on his leg. He thinks about how the things you do to die are far easier than the things you do to survive. And he limps. He bumps into a friend who pulls him in an orchestra, or perhaps it's a circus. There's something dancing in the center of the stage. Something or Someone, look, his friend says, pointing towards the dancer, look at the marionette at play. What is he doing? He asks. Composing his next bestseller, his friend answers. A novel? He asks, confused. Are you serious? His friendly, jokingly nudges. Why? But it's a play! And he watches the composer in action. The playwright, with half-lidded eyes, dances to an unsteady rhythm that somehow he knows, he recognizes. A foreign tune he heard somewhere, maybe in a forest, maybe at the gym. It's a tune he knows too well, but can't place. He limps forward towards the stage, and there's no one to stop him. He doesn't want to be seen by the dancer, just wants to observe his effortless movements. A hand in the air, a foot here and there. It's almost as if he's floating. Somewhere along the way, he thinks he himself becomes the dancer with an audience to watch him. He makes them happy. He feels happy in doing so. Somewhere along the way, the lines begin to blur. He tilts his head and lets it fall into a slumber, a familiar rhythm. To survive becomes to die, and to die becomes to perish, and to perish becomes the reason to be reborn. He doesn't want to be reborn, oh, but he must, for that's the rule of existence. He wants to dance in this endless loop of existence instead, and pretend, if only for a second, that he's alive for nothing but himself, alive and free. Thank you.